And today I want to speak about a person, by Allah, numbers never scared him. Europe threw everything that they had at him, but they couldn't scare him. Like the people of Badr fulfilled the rights of jihad, Salahuddin fulfilled the rights of jihad. Like the people of Badr fulfilled the rights of this ummah, Salahuddin fulfilled the rights of this ummah. Like the people of Badr were ready to sacrifice everything for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Salahuddin was ready to sacrifice everything for the sake of Allah. Like Allah gave victory to the people of Badr, similarly Allah gave victory to Salahuddin rahmatullah alayhim. It was almost as though Allah kept Salahuddin back from the people of Badr so he could deal with his enemies at a different place and a different time. And the testimony to the greatness of this man is that every single person claimed him. Even his arch enemies claimed him. When the news of his bravery and compassion reached Europe, they couldn't believe that a non-white, non-Christian man could be so brave and so compassionate. Islamic history is a testimony to the fact that whenever Muslims were in danger, many of those people who came to the forefront were non-Arabs. Bayt al-Maqdis is in the heart of the Middle East, surrounded by Arabs. But who were the men who raced to liberate it in the Middle Ages? It was men like Mawdud, Imaduddin, Nuruddin. They were all Turks. And Salahuddin rahmatullah alayhim ajma'in, he was a Kurd. He was a Kurd. Because they felt that it was their duty, that they had to liberate the land because they felt that they were an ummah. And Salahuddin was born in the fort of Tikrit. And his mother mentioned that when I was pregnant with Salahuddin rahmatullah alayhi, I saw a dream that in my stomach I have a sword from the swords of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were warriors. And this was the environment in which Salahuddin rahmatullah alayhi was brought up in. It was a military environment. There was never a day when the expulsion of the Crusaders was not mentioned. But it was not only a military environment. It was not a dry military environment. It was a very religious, spiritual environment. Salahuddin, from a very early age, he became a hafid of the Quran. He was a Shafi in fiqh. And his greatest aspiration in life was to become a scholar. He loved the scholars. Throughout his life, the men that he respected the most were the ulama. And when Imaduddin passed away, Salahuddin was still young. Then he had the honor of being tutored by a man regarding who Ibn Athir rahmatullah alayhi says, the Muslims never had a man who was as upright and caring and compassionate as Nuruddin Zinki rahmatullah alayhi. Somebody else sows the seeds and he does all the root work, and those who come later, they reap the fruits of it. And also Nuruddin realized the potential in Salahuddin, and this is why when in Damascus crime became rife, he made Salahuddin at a very tender age in charge of the entire police of Damascus. The Crusaders attacked Egypt, and what a deed the Caliph in Egypt did is that he cut the hair of his wife and he sent it to Nuruddin. And this meant that we can no longer look after our women, assist us. And Nuruddin rahmatullah alayhi didn't want to assist them because see, Al-Adid and the Egyptians were Fatimites. The Fatimites were Shias. So Nuruddin didn't want to go, didn't want to send an army. But Shirku, the uncle of Salahuddin, convinced him. And Salahuddin rahmatullah alayhi says, when my uncle came to me to take me to Egypt, I didn't want to go. One, because his aspirations was to become a scholar. But second, he mentions, I thought I was going to die. As Allah says, in the Quran, وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. It is a possibility that you will dislike something, but there's good in it for you. And by Allah, Salahuddin going, there was good for the ummah. There was good for history. He changed the landscape of history. Salahuddin rahmatullah alayhi became the second most powerful man in Egypt. He was only 32 at the time. And Salahuddin showed what a real leader should be. He removed all the taxes which were contrary to the Sharia. He established Sunni madrasas there were only Shia madrasas. He established Sunni madrasas. By the time Al-Adid was passing away, Salahuddin made an announcement that after tomorrow, from now, Egypt will be Sunni. People loved Salahuddin. He won their heart. He was a true leader. He showed love and compassion to people. And that love and compassion was reciprocated. And Ibn Murrah mentioned, he said, I swear by Allah, if Salahuddin had been given the entire dunya to spend in the path of Allah, it would have not been enough for him. His treasurers would never tell him how much they had in the treasury, because he would spend it all. In times of affluence and difficulty, he would spend the same, because he didn't care about the dunya. And the historians mention that Salahuddin rahmatullah alayh never in his life did he turn away a beggar. They mention that never in his life, listen to this, never in his life did he ride a horse, but he had already promised to give it to somebody else. And therefore Salahuddin wasn't just a warrior. It is the barakah of Salahuddin rahmatullah alayh that today Egypt is Sunni. Egypt had been Shia for over 280 years. Al-Azhar, the oldest Muslim university, had been Shia for over 200 years. And it was Salahuddin rahmatullah alayh who brought him back into Sunniism. Therefore Salahuddin wasn't just a warrior. Salahuddin was a Muslim. He was a Muhammadi. He was a mu'min. The only language that he understood was the language of the Quran. You know, we remember these people, but none of us aspire to be like them.